Our next guest has done an awful lot in his career of 40 years. He rode a train with Joe Henry from Chicago to LA, writing train songs. Woody Guthrie's family afforded him the opportunity to write music to Woody's lyrics. He is known for his political protest songs. He is known as a political activist. And yet, he can write a beautiful love song. Quite frankly, when an Essex boy does this good, there are only two words: Billy Bragg!
How are you? In 1649 to St George's Hill, a ragged band they called the Diggers came to show the people's will. They defied the landlords, they defied the laws. They were the dispossessed, reclaiming what was theirs. We come in peace, they said, to dig and sow. We come to work the land in common hand to make the waste ground grow. This earth divided, we will make whole. So it shall be a common treasury full. The sin of property we do disdain. No man has any right to buy and sell the earth for private gain. By theft and murder they took the land. Now everywhere the walls rise up at their command. They made the laws to chain us well. The clergy dazzle us with heaven, or they damn us into hell. We will not worship the God they serve, the God of greed and feeds the rich while poor folks starve. We work, we eat together, we need no swords. We will not bow to the masters or pay rent to the Lord. Still we are free, though we are poor. You diggers all stand up for glory. Stand up now, stand up now, stand up now. Men of property, the orders came. They sent the hired men and troopers to wipe out the diggers' claim, tear down their cottages, destroy their corn. They were dispersed, but still the vision lingers on. And you poor take courage, you rich take care. This earth was made a common treasury for everyone to share, all things in common, all people one. We come in peace, the orders came to cut them down. Yeah, thank you. So about a week ago, I picked up on this song, Rich Men North of Richmond, written by this guy, Oliver Anthony, United States of America. It sounded like my kind of song. It starts: if you're selling your soul, working all day, overtime hours for bullshit pay, I'm in there, thank you. But by the time he gets to the end of the first verse, he starts picking on people. He has this kind of weird line. If you're 5'3", 300 pounds, taxis shouldn't pay for your fudge rounds. A fudge round is a kind of a biscuit or cookie, as they call it in the United States. And I'm like, whoa, hang on a minute. This is punching down. I don't like this. As soon as I'd heard it, I got a WhatsApp from Woody Guthrie. He's like, Bill, have you heard it? I've heard it. I said, I've heard it, Woody. He's like, yeah. Give him a nod, will you? Just say, because I see, to me, I think, if we're going to help people, we can't be saying we're only going to help people who are over 5'6", slim, and don't have a sweet tooth. That ain't going to work, is it? People either deserve support or they don't deserve support. And as far as I'm concerned, there's no such thing as the undeserving poor. If you're selling your soul, working all day, overtime hours for bullshit pay, well, nothing's gonna change if all of you do is sit there and wish that it didn't come true. Join a union. Fight for better pay. You better join a union, brother. Organize today. You find out where the problem really lies when the union comes around. Rich men earning north of $1 million wanna keep the working folk down. Wanna keep the working folk down. Now if you join a union, you're gonna find working people are all of one kind, and we ain't gonna punch down on people who need a bit of understanding and some solidarity. That ain't right, friend, no. If you're struggling with your health and you're putting on the pounds, doctor gives you opiates to help you get around, well, wouldn't it be better for people like you and me if medicine was subsidized and healthcare was free? Join a union. Fight for better pay. Come on and join a union, sister. Organize today. It's still the same old story. If you're black or white or brown, rich men earning north of $1 million wanna keep the working folk down. Wanna keep the working folk down. Now I know your culture wars are there to distract from libertarian millionaires avoiding paying tax. You wanna talk about bathrooms while the floodwaters rise. The forest is on fire and the wind burns our eyes. Something's wrong here. Now they wanna divide us because together we're strong. You're gonna take action now, you sung your damn song. If you don't want the rich man to be in total control, you better get the union to roll. Join a union. Fight for better pay. Come on and join a union. Organize today. Don't matter if you live in the city or some little country town. Rich men earning north of $1 million. Rich men earning north of $1 million. I say rich men earning north of $1 million wanna keep the working folk down. Wanna keep the working folk down. If you're selling your soul, working all day, overtime hours for bullshit pay, join a union. You're very kind. Please welcome out my Confederates. CJ Hillman is here. JJ Stoney, yeah. It's me and CJ Hillman here. We went down to watch the Morris Parade. We were very excited about that. And because Chris plays a bit of mandolin, I was suggesting to him he could form his own side. I thought that would look great, wouldn't it? The Hillman Morris. See, I told you they was all over 50. I told you, didn't I? I told you. He's like, they won't know. I said, they will. Sorry, that's just the last Morris piss take, I promise. I know where I am. Respect. I'm scared of him, I tell you. CJ, kick us off. I lived in a place called Overski, and I had a little girl in a hollow tree. I said, little girl, it's plain to see, there ain't nobody who can sing like me, ain't nobody who can sing like me. I went down by the Buckeye Creek to see the froggy, the goggle-eyed bee, to hear that west wind whistle to the east. There ain't nobody who can sing like me, ain't nobody who can sing like me. Way over yonder in the minor key, way over yonder in the minor key, there ain't nobody who can sing like me. Down by the Buckeye Creek to see the froggy, the goggle-eyed bee, to hear that west wind whistle to the east. But there ain't nobody who can sing like me, ain't nobody who can sing like me. Oh, my little girlie, will you let me see way over yonder where the wind blows free, and nobody can see in our hollow tree. There ain't nobody who can sing like me, ain't nobody who can sing like me. Way over yonder in the minor key, way over yonder in the minor key, there ain't nobody who can sing like me. Now I've walked a long, long ways, still look back to my Tanglewood days. Let a lot of girls since then to stray, saying ain't nobody who can sing like me, ain't nobody who can sing like me. Way over yonder in the minor key, way over yonder in the minor key, there ain't nobody who can sing like me. Way over yonder in the minor key, way over yonder in the minor key, there ain't nobody who can sing like me. Way over yonder in the minor key, way over yonder in the minor key, there ain't nobody who can sing like me. There ain't nobody who can sing like me. Woody Guthrie says hi. Oh, yeah. What we got here, yeah. Whoa. And there we go, drop it. One of the things in the 40 years of me performing and going around the world, there's one thing you can say about me. I'm not slick. I've never become slick. That's right. The back's hanging out of my trousers. I'm basically like anybody who plays at a festival. I'm just a glorified busker, so I didn't bring the dancing troupe or the light show. I don't need them anymore. I've dispensed with them. What I do need, though, is this beautiful thing, which I'm going to stick on here in the hope that this is going to be the right key that the rest of the band are playing in. And so, fabulous bank holiday weather we're having. Yeah. It would be a joke if it weren't for the fact that the weather really literally is is something that really should be at the top of our agenda. Clearly, things are happening. My heart sank when the bozos who are queuing up to be the deputy, the vice president to Donald Trump at the debate the other day, and they none of them believed that climate change was something that humans were affecting. I'm like, whoa, okay. This is where we're going. They haven't, obviously, the smoke from Canada hasn't quite got down to wherever they were in Miami. This is about something that actually happens in Florida. It's about sunny day flooding. The waters in the Gulf of Mexico no longer return to their winter temperature. They remain their summer temperature and get hotter. Water, when it's warm, expands. As a result, when they have their king tides, their big tide when the moon pulls, the tide pushes groundwater up to lower parts of Florida, and they get this situation where water comes out the drains, it comes out of the ground. They call it sunny day flooding. It's a flood without a storm. And it's a kind of a warning from nature. They're not really taking enough notice of it in my book, but that's what this song is called. It's called King Tide and the Sunny Day Flood. Wouldn't it be wonderful if we could save the world and all, simply by collecting up tin cans and empty bottles? We all want it to be true, but it don't matter what you do, so long as we continue to burn our way through fossils. Now it should come as no surprise to hear about the ocean's rise. Polar caps are melting with every year that the planet warms. Now people have to understand, we're gonna feel it far inland. It's gonna shift the seasons and supercharge the storms. The king tide is a-coming. The king tide is a-coming. The king tide is a-coming, bringing flooding on a sunny day. The king tide is a-coming. Can't you hear the meltwaters running? The king tide is a-coming, gonna wash everything away. And you know, the oceans, they connect us all. No one can just build a wall. We have to work together. We can't do this on our own. To think that you could stand aside, it's nothing more than foolish pride, 'cause everyone's a libertarian till the brown water floods their home. Now you may live on higher ground, feeling like you're safe and sound, thinking as you look around, this is your lucky day. But everyone beneath the sky soon be looking for somewhere high and dry. Nothing you can ever do will keep them all at bay, because the king tide is a-coming. The king tide is a-coming. The king tide is a-coming, bringing flooding on a sunny day. The king tide is a-coming. Can't you hear the meltwaters running? The king tide is a-coming, gonna wash everything away. The king tide is a-coming, and we have to act today. Thank you. Now, I don't normally get nervous before gigs. I'm kind of one of those, I get excited. I have to go and have a wee a couple of times in the half hour before. You know, I get jumpy about that, but I don't get nervous. I don't lay awake the night before worrying about what's going to happen at the gig. But I have to tell you, Cambridge Folk Festival last year, I was bricking it. I was absolutely bricking it. I'll tell you why. Because completely out of the blue, 2 days before, literally on like the Wednesday of that week, the England women's football team got into the European Championship final. And I suddenly realised with dread that I was going to be on stage 5 minutes before the end of the game. And I was like, please God, let it be all sorted out one way or the other. Because I like to think that I like to be able to sort of take an audience by the scruff of the neck and, tickle their mood and bring them along with the idea that I could be, playing to an audience whose mood could change catastrophically without me not even saying something, off colour about Morris dancing, just that sort of thing. Worse than that. I mean, I lay abed thinking, what happens if it goes to extra time? What happens if it goes to extra time and penalties? And I'm on stage at penalties against Germany. It's like, oh, gee. And of course, we know what happened. It did go to extra time. I was on bloody stage at the Cambridge Folk Festival, and it's like people in the audience are looking at their phones. Understandably, I would have been looking at my phone if I wasn't doing this. And I'm looking at them trying to suss out what's happening by... There's a bloke down the front who responds to lines in my song by going, which looks as if we've scored. And there's a thing to do. If you're playing it, sometimes at festivals you're playing and people are fossicking around, going on, and it's a bit distracting. So what you do is you pick something like here, it will be the Toasties over there, the Toastie stall. You just sing at the Toastie stall and you don't worry about, everyone gets some. It's an old technique. So I decided to sing out the back of the tent. What's out the back of the tent? A great big England flag. So then a frizz-on goes through the audience, a frizz-on, which is like a frisbee, but a feeling, and England has scored. They're 2-1 up. So now I'm like, what's happening now? I try and say to this guy who's looking at his phone, how long? 2 minutes. I've got this joke I tell sometimes when I'm in real trouble at a gig. I tell the joke, game still ain't ended. So I'm like, okay, for once in your life, Braggy, be professional. Just play a song. Just let it go. Play a song. Halfway through the song, the place went mad. Beer went up in the air. I stopped playing. These two, for some reason, aren't interested in football. I don't know why. Soddy millennials. But it's kind of like, it was really emotional. And, if I hadn't been on stage, I'd have been in a hotel room watching it. I'd have been excited. I'd have texted my missus. It'd have been great. But to be there with 5,000 people in a tent, when England's women won the European Cup, it was just the best way to do it. It was scary as hell at the time, I have to tell you. I didn't know if I'd done a great gig or totally the worst. I finished, all I could do after we won, we all sung Jerusalem and I got off. I was like, that's it. Leave a bit of Billy Bragg, and out. So it was fab. It was a fabulous experience. And I think of it every time we play this song. Surely it's so exciting to be sleeping here in this new room. Surely you're my reason to get out of bed before noon. Surely, when we sat out on the fire escape talking. Surely, what did you say about running before we were walking? Sometimes when we're as close as this, it's like we're in a dream. How can you lie there and think of England when you don't even know who's in the women's team? Surely your sexual politics have left me all of a martyr. Surely we joined in the ideological cardo. Celebrating my love for you with a pint of beer and a new tattoo. And if you haven't noticed yet, I'm more impressionable when my cement is wet. Politics and pregnancy are debated as we empty our glasses. And how I love those evening classes. Surely to make a young man angry. Surely, can we get through the night without mentioning family? The people from your church agree it's not much of a career. Trying the handles of parked cars, whoops, there goes another year. Here we are in our summer years, living on ice cream and chocolate kisses. And would the leaves fall from the trees if I was your old man and you was my missus? Surely give my greetings to the new brood. Surely greetings to the new brood. Surely greetings to the new brood. Greetings to the new brood. CJ Hillman is Johnny Marr. JJ Stoney is Cara Tibby. Woohoo! Now, a few years ago at Glastonbury Festival in 2014, there was an initiative to commemorate the events of the First World War, a national initiative called 1418 Now, who were organising things around the country, events that would commemorate events in the First World War in real time as we moved through that 4-year period. And it just so happened that Glastonbury weekend 2014 coincided with the 100th anniversary of the assassination of the Archduke Franz Ferdinand in Sarajevo. And the festival were asked to do something to commemorate that. And so Michael Levis, as he sometimes does with these mad-ass things, set it down to see us at left field. And I had a brilliant idea. My initial idea I thought was really, really good, because it just so happened that Franz Ferdinand were playing Glastonbury that year. And I had this all open car lined up, everything, but I didn't fancy it. So instead, I run a little thing with other singer-songwriters, which we call the Radical Roundup, where we take it in turns to sing songs, and all of us took a turn. We all wrote a song to commemorate the beginning of that epochal period. And I'd like to sing my song for you now. It's actually bringing together an old folk tune with a poem by Thomas Hardy, the Dorset poet, which is where I live in Dorset, and it's called The Man He Killed. If he and I had only met in some old and ancient inn, we would have set us down to wet many a nipperkin. But we were ranged as infantry, and staring face to face, I shot at him as he at me, and killed him in his place. I shot him dead because he was my foe. Just so, my foe, of course he was, it's plain to me, although perhaps he'd chosen to enlist offhand, like just as I was out of work and sold his traps. No other reason why. How strange and curious is war, you shoot a fella down, that you would stand in any bar or help to half a crown. But we were ranged as infantry, and staring face to face, I shot at him as he at me, and killed him in his place. You're very kind. My Confederates, return, please, return. Do. Let's see what we can come up with. I think this one's with you, CJ, isn't it? Last time I looked. Yeah. Relations with girls in many nations. I've made passes at women of all classes. And just because you're they, I won't turn you away. If you stick around, I'm sure that we can find the right pronoun. Sexuality, yeah, you betcha. Young and woman, wild and free. Sexuality, your laws do not apply to me. A nuclear submarine sinks off the coast of Sweden. Headlines give me headaches when I read them. I had an uncle who once played for the Red Star Belgrade. He said some things are really best left unspoken. I prefer it all to be out in the open. Sexuality, young and woman, wild and free. Sexuality, your laws do not apply to me. Sexuality, don't threaten me with Morrissey. Sexuality, what happened to that guy? I demand your honesty. I'm sure that everybody knows how much my body hates me. It lets me down most every time and makes me rash and hasty. I feel a total jerk before your naked body of work. Oh yeah. I'm getting way down. Almost I thought I heard a voice. Did you hear a voice? Out there in the distance somewhere, like an echo. It's beautiful, wasn't it? Shall we see if we can get them to do it again? Here we go, this way. I'm getting way down with all this information. Oh, not so good. You've had all weekend to practice. Have you not been in the tent practicing singing in harmony with Johnny Spears, huh? Where have you been? Let's try it again. I'm getting way down with all this information. Safe sex doesn't mean no sex, just means use your imagination. Stop playing with yourselves in single currency hotels. I look like Robert De Niro. I drive a Mitsubishi Pajero. Don't tell the Greens. Sexuality, young and woman, wild and free. Sexuality, sex is real, but it's not binary. Sexuality, come eat and drink and sleep with me. Sexuality, we can be what we wanna be, yeah. Now, the more observant among you will notice I've slightly tweaked the lyrics to that one. Not the Morrissey reference, he deserves everything he gets. That's all right. Yeah. No, I tweaked it slightly to turn it into a song of allyship with the transgender and non-binary communities. 2 reasons for that, brothers and sisters, siblings, 2 reasons. The first reason is they need cis allies. They need people, straight people, to stand up for them so they're not standing on their own. because they will be standing on their own come the election. You probably heard Lee Anderson, if you didn't hear him say that, admit in an interview, Lee Anderson, the deputy chairman of the Conservative Party, admit that the Tories have no policies anymore, and that he said, and I quote here, the next election will probably be about trans rights and culture wars. And it's funny, when people like Lee Anderson pick on people, it just makes me want to stand next to him in solidarity. I don't know about you, brothers, sisters, siblings, but that's how it makes me feel. The other reason is, as a woman pointed out to me in Boston in 2019, she said to me, Bill, you know that song where you go for a drink with a gay geezer? I'm like, oh yeah, sexuality, yeah. She said to me, not very radical, is it really, in 2019 to go for a beer with a gay fella? I'm like, no, I suppose it's not really. So I had a good think about it, and I think I've tweaked it a bit, and it's been very positive responses. There was a lovely response when I was first doing it from a trans person who tweeted that how impressed they were that there would be such, as you applauded when I spoke, that applause that you expressed, they heard that at a gig of mine and said how amazing it was that there should be such support for trans rights in an audience that came of age in the 1980s. And I don't say that as a joke or a slur, I just say that so you understand how we are seen now. That we're not the hip people we thought we were, just because we were out with the miners, just because we stood up for gay rights back in the day. That doesn't mean we can sit on the fence now. We really do it, yeah. We owe it to our younger selves. And I recognise this is a difficult issue. And there is an element in my audience who have a real problem with this. How can I describe them in a polite way? Let me just call them geezers my age, who have a bit of a problem with the issue of transgender rights. So let me just share something with you, brothers. We are never going to be pretty again. That's gone. And even someone like myself, with all these lights and this big PA and these specially tailored trousers, we're never going to be hip again, brothers. That's gone too. But let me just tell you something. There's no reason why we shouldn't be as relevant and as radical as we were back in the day. And this is one of those issues where we really could make a difference. So I'm asking you to get off the fence, get your hair cut, and get yourself in gear on this one. I want to dedicate this song to you, brothers, with respect. It's called Mid-Century Modern. Have mercy on us, Father, who lived through this age of storms. We barely have the time to bind the wounds caused by our shattered norms. The credulous are on crusade against reality. And freedom's just another word for acting with impunity. It's hard to get your bearings in a world that doesn't care. Positions I took long ago feel comfy as an old armchair. But the kids that tear the statues down, they challenge me to see the gap between the man I am and the man I wanna be. That same old pointless argument blew up again last night. One where one of us is wrong, but both of us feel in the right. My indignation drove me to say things that I regret. And I heard the one I loved the most with my self-righteous temperament. Now I must face the consequence of the thoughtlessness I've shown. wasn't my intention to spend this evening all alone, but wounded pride is all I have to keep me company. In the gap between the man I am and the man I wanna be. People listening to what I have to say, so I find it hard to think that it might help if I just stepped away and adjusted my perceptions to reflect reality. And the gap between the man I am and the man I wanna be. Yeah. Thank you. And just to save you having to tap me up on Twitter or X or whatever it's called next week, I just want to make clear that I believe that women and girls have 100% believe that they have the right to be safe in their own spaces. 100%. I just happen to think that that's not incompatible with trans women being safe in those spaces as well. And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why I believe that. Because the challenge, the danger, the threat that women and girls and trans women face comes from the same place. And it's that same old place of male violence. That is the thing. Male violence against women and girls and trans women. That's what we should be bloodying our fingers on the internet every day, trying to stop and trying to bring an end to. The money from her accident, she bought herself a mobile home, so at least she could get some enjoyment out of being alone. No one could say that she was left up on a shelf. It's you and me against the world, kid, she mumbled to herself. When the world falls apart, something stay in place. Levi Stubbs' tears run down his face. She ran away from home in her mother's best coat. She was married before she was even entitled to vote. Her husband was one of those blokes, the sort who only laughs at his own jokes, the sort of war takes away, and when there wasn't a war, he left anyway. When the world falls apart, something stays in place. Levi Stubbs' tears run down his face. Norman Whitfield and Barrett Strong are here to make right everything that's wrong. Holland and Lamont Dozier too are here to make it all okay with you. And one dark night he came home from the sea, put a hole in her body when no hole should be. Heard them all, see him walking out the door, and now they stitched her back together. They left her heart in pieces on the floor. When the world falls apart, some things stay in place. She takes off the foretop tape and puts it back in its case. When the world falls apart, some things stay in place. Levi Stubbs' tears. Still, yeah. As one disappears, another appears, ladies and gentlemen. JJ Stoney is here, yeah. Obviously, for many people, the pandemic was a terrible time, but personally, I kind of restored a lot of my faith in human nature, the way people work together, the way people are willing to do things that perhaps they normally wouldn't do, you know, like wear a mask, or even things they don't want to do, like take a vaccine. Those kind of ideas that people are willing to act in the common good. That gives me hope that we will be able to confront the climate crisis, because by Christ, if we can't act in the common good about that, and we're probably finished as a species, never mind as a people. So I was encouraged by that. And that's kind of what this song is about. It's called I Will Be Your Shield. When things start to unravel and days fill you with dread, and comments dent your confidence, confide in me instead. When every little setback just makes you want to cry, and the whole world seems against you, and you don't know why. In the battle against your demons, I will be your shield. When the world has lost all meaning, together we'll stand, for our love is the one thing that's real. When pressure wrought by changes becomes too much to bear, and pain stops you from functioning, trust in me to care. When the world beyond your doorstep no longer makes much sense, and hostile thoughts surround you, I'll come to your defense. has lost all meaning. Together we'll stand, for our love is the one thing that's real. I will be your shield when the anger waves are pounding. I will be your shield when the wind whips up the shore. I will be your shield when you hear the thunder sounding and the rain beats on your door. I will be your shield. JJ Steiner, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Now we come to the spot in the evening where I generally pick up on some topical industrial action that's going on somewhere nearby or somewhere in all minds and flip this song up for a moment of armchair and solidarity around that. But tonight, I'm going to break with tradition, actually, and I'm going to dedicate this song to the Spanish Women's Footballers Union in their fight against misogyny, against sexism, in a country renowned for machismo. Bullshit. That's, you know, the women's football has had a transformative effect on all of us, I think. Not just those of us who are interested in football, but on all of us, of how we look at women and what women can do and the rights of women. It's inspired women and girls. And I think, you know, it's a shame that the Lionesses didn't win, but think of the joy they've given us over the last couple of years. Where we got that from? More than I can ever remember from the men's team. And the Spanish women standing up against misogyny like that, it really is inspirational to us all. So, for them, there is power in a union. There is power in a factory, power in the land, power in the hand of the worker. But it all amounts to nothing if together we don't stand. There is power in a union. Now the lessons of the past all learned with workers' blood. The mistakes of the bosses we must pay for. From the cities and the farmlands, the trenches full of mud. War's always been the boss's way, sir. The union forever defending our rights. Down with the black leg of workers unite. With our brothers and our sisters, together we will stand. There is power in a union, yeah! Now I long for the morning that they realise brutality and unjust laws cannot defeat us. Who'll defend the workers who cannot organise when the bosses send their lackeys out to cheat us? Money speaks for money, the devil for his own. Who comes to speak for the skin and the bone? What a comfort to the widow, a light to the child. There is power in a union. The union forever defending our rights. Down with the black leg of workers unite. With our brothers and our sisters, together we will stand. There is power in a union. The union our brothers and our sisters and all our siblings too. There is power in a youth. La lucha continua. All right. Okay. All right. This is one of the great things about my job. There's two great things about my job. The second great thing is they actually pay me to do it. I'm getting away with it still, mate, after all this time. But it's one that when I, you know, audiences don't never like to hear me say this. They really, it's one of those things. It's like telling people there's no such thing as Father Christmas. But the truth of the matter is, brothers, sisters, siblings, music cannot change the world. People don't like to hear it, but it is the truth. It has no agency. But music does have a power, a really, really important power. And that power is, when I come off stage tonight, because of the way you've reacted to these songs, not just to this last one with your fists in the air in solidarity, but earlier as well, having seen your expression of solidarity, hearing it in your applause to the things I've said, when I walk off here tonight, my activism is going to be recharged. I'm going to be fired up again, you know? And I know I'm fortunate. I know how fortunate I am in that. I'm a lucky bugger to have that. But I've come to understand that my job, an important part of my job, is to make you go home with the same feeling. Because this feeling doesn't come from the songs. I could go back to my hotel tonight, play these songs as loud, as fast, as angry as I've played them tonight. I still won't get that feeling. Because that feeling comes from all of you. And in that sense, it's also accessible to all of you. You know, next weekend I'll be at another festival somewhere, laying this same trip on a different audience. In between, you've got to go back to your environment. You might be in a situation where you find that you're, marginalised. You don't feel your views are reflected. You don't feel that, the kind of ideas we've talked about are visible there. But you will know that there's a field full of people in Shrewsbury who do give a shit about this stuff. And that, brothers, sisters, siblings, that there is the power of music. Not the power to change the world, but the power to make you believe that the world can be changed. It may have been Camelot for Jack and Jacqueline, but on the Che Guevara highway filling up with gasoline. Fidel Castro's brother spies a rich lady who's crying over luxury's disappointment, so he walks over and he's trying to sympathise with her. But he thinks that he should warn her that the Third World War is just around the corner. And the former Soviet Union, a scientist is blinded by the resumption of nuclear testing, and he is reminded that Dr. Robert Oppenheimer's optimism fell the first hurdle. In the former cheese pavilion, and the only noise I hear is the sound of someone stacking chairs and mopping up spilled beer, and someone asking questions and basking in the light of the 15 fame-filled seconds of the fanzine writer. Mixing pop and politics, they ask me what the use is. They offer me embarrassment and my usual excuses. while walking down the corridor. Out to the van is waiting. I'm looking for the great leap forward. Jumble sales are organised and pamphlets have been posted. Even after all this time, there's still parties to be hosted. You can be active with the activists or sleeping with the media while you're waiting for the great leap forwards. One leap forwards, 2 leaps back. Will Elon Musk get me the sack? Waiting for the great leap forwards. Well, here comes the future and you can't run from it. If you've got a tattoo, I wanna be on it. Waiting for the great leap forwards. Well, if no one out there understands, start your own bloody podcast and cut out the middleman. Every bastard's got one. In a perfect world we'd all sing in tune, but there ain't nobody that can sing like me. Waiting for the great leap forwards. It's a mighty long way down rock and roll. From top of the pops, what's top of the pops, Grandad? Waiting for the great leap forwards. So join the struggle while you may. The revolution's just a tea towel away. Available for reasonable price in the merch tent over there by the Sunday. Thanks very much. We had a great night here at Shrewsbury as always, and a fabulous time at Shrewsbury as well. Thanks very much. Whether you're a Shrewsburyer or a Shrewsburyer, we're just happy to be here. Thanks very much. CJ Hillman, JJ Stoney, my name's Billy Bragg. I'm from Barking, Essex. Good night.
The magnificent